Do you think the reason is that the U.S. chickened out and is not striking Iran, or do you think we are about to strike Iran?
We'll be be very careful of using that term "chicken out." I'm told that if you mention taco, Trump always chickens out on the White House. That you'll be shot on sight. Trump will not tolerate that. I think there's a lot of confusion and frankly, disinformation. What I think you're seeing is another manifestation of the absence of any real strategic planning, thinking, preparation before execution. Uh, Everything is impulse driven. It's whatever Donald Trump wakes up and decides he wants to do. His cabinet scurries around and tries to respond to it. Now, in reality, what happened? I think that we thought we had an opportunity inside Iran to really disrupt the regime, even bring it down. This, of course, was based on the protests that are really a consequence of a terrible economic situation and the dramatic reduction in value of the rial, the Iranian currency. Now, a lot of us have wondered why Iran has not gone to BRICS or to the Chinese or someone and said, look, lend me $1 billion, because they could do that easily. That would boost the economy and help the situation tremendously. But for some reason, they haven't done that. Now, I know there's Islamic law that essentially forbids usury. This is one of the reasons the banks in the Islamic world tend to be very solid as opposed to ours. I don't know if that's the justification for it, but the bottom line is that what you started with were very legitimate protests about the economic conditions in Iran. Those overlapped with a struggle, political struggle, between reformers and conservatives. This then was developed into a CIA, Mossad, MI6 operation with the introduction of thousands of these Starlight terminals, enormous quantities of money, which in that setting, of course, is going to buy a certain amount of support. And now we have all sorts of evidence that's being provided overseas as well as here at home for instructions given to people in the crowds to fire on the police and provoke the police to shoot back at them in the hopes that people would be killed. And this then would worsen the situation. Well, all of this unfolded and it failed.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Bakahakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. Peace and blessings and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect. I'm the brother Zion, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to feed the sheep and the lambs of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And this video was inspired by the elder Yashawamba. Yeah, I was watching one of his videos, this latest news and prophecy, and pretty much, I wanted to speak on this, and basically, all right, it's talking about Iran, and the lady opened up with the question, and she said, why did Trump chicken out, basically, from going into Iran? All right, and it wasn't that he chickened out, it was really the Lord put the spirit, on the angels to put the spirit, because the angels work on the minds of the kings. The Lord used the angels to put the spirit on him not to do so, because it's not time. All right, we understand that prophecies have to come before, all right, Babylon just runs up in Iran and, Russia gets involved, and then we had a third world war. We got to understand that we still have to, the chip still has to take place. All right, and brothers have been sending articles on that. All right. Now, pretty much, when you look at this whole situation, all right, you got a lot of war games going on. You got a lot of different nations making chess moves on the board and doing what they do. But prophecy has to be done in decency and in order. All right. Now, Yahweh Shem Yahshai is definitely working to the start of 2026. Right. And you can see the things that are taking place. All right, Babylon basically took over Venezuela. Now they talking about Greenland. And then now they saying, well, if America can do that, why can't China just do that with Taiwan? A bunch of other things, Of course, big brother Russia is backing up Iran, so America has to tread lightly. But the guy Myron, because this is the last thought that I had from Elder Yashawamba's video. The dude Myron from Fresh and Fit. All right, he had his little take on it, and he basically was saying how, all right, you're not that much more advanced than Russia and China, so you can't really just do what you want to do. All right, talking about America. All right, you can't just tell somebody what to do and they just gonna do it. You're not the only superpower on the planet, man. And then you had the guy from China, all right, who basically said China not gonna fire the first blow, but they're not gonna wait for you to fire the second. So there's threats going on, man. There's threats going on. All right. And that's basically Joel, the 3rd chapter right there. Okay. So let's get a little more of this.
It failed for a whole variety of reasons. The failure began.
This guy is basically saying the mission that they tried to do, it failed. Because that's what Babylon will do. They'll give you all the propaganda on their news. And they'll tell a bunch of damn lies, man. Just so they can get over there up in your land. All right. But it failed. And that was the Lord.
Argued last week on Friday when the Iranians and the Turks cooperated to annihilate 400 Kurdish fighters who were trying to move from Syria into Iran. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Mossad or the CIA anticipated that, but I think that's a very important development. There's a growing appreciation in Turkey for the criticality of stability and unity in Iran. The two states, for different reasons, have been competitors and sometimes enemies over 1,000 years. But both are civilizational states. We need to understand that. Americans don't have any idea what that means. Iran is Persia. The Persian Empire has been with us for 25.
And that's in the scriptures, man.
2,600 years. They have a unique civilization and culture. So did the Turks. For very similar reasons. The Turks came out of Central Asia. They're not Arabs. Anyway, the point is that both of these states are not going to help us or the Israelis destroy one or the other because they see their survival as civilizational states at risk. So what's happened is that the Starlight terminals were largely picked up, confiscated. The Chinese assisted technically helping to suppress and jam these things and the satellite connections. I think the Russians have helped.
Yeah, because Elder Yashwamba was going into how Babylon, Elon Musk sent that Starlink over there and they intercepted it. Because here it is, like I said, man, Babylon the Great, you always want to look in somebody else's backyard and tell them to clean it up. But your backyard is full of dog shit. Clean your own backyard up, man. They always trying to police the world. That's why the scriptures say neither keep it at home.
Whatever way they could. But the point is, I think President Trump was told that this was a golden moment in time, which would allow him with very little effort to topple the government. That failed miserably. Second.
And why did it fail? Why did it fail? Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai made it fail. It's not time. Right now is not the time for Babylon to run up in Iran, man. Because I'm telling you, once that takes place, we know what's going to happen. All right, but prophecy has to take place in decency and in order.
Once it became clear that failed, I can't prove this, but I suspect the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Kane, probably told him, if we're going to do this, we're going to need more firepower because what we anticipated has not happened. In other words, the country is not imploding. Its armed forces are intact. Its integrated air and missile defenses are intact and so forth. And I think
Salakia, my airplane mode ran out. But basically, yeah,
stories were spun out.
Their shit is in order over there, so to speak. All right, they have their shit in order. All right, Iran has their war drums ready, and also they have Russia backing them up. All right.
To explain why now suddenly the attack was off, and remember, President Trump tried to persuade people. Well, they've stopped killing, and I told them I didn't want them to kill. Give us a break. There's no evidence that Trump gives a damn about who lives or dies in the Middle East, least of all Iran. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just nonsense.
Hey, that's funny, man. That devil's on point, though.
And I think they had a Pakistani diplomat insist in his discussions with the Iranians that they told him that they informed Trump that they were scaling back on the killing. Now, maybe that was true, but I don't think it's killing in the sense of what you saw in the riots. I think it's really executions of fifth columnists.
Mm-hmm.
Because Babylon tries to make it seem like the situation was worse than what it was, so that can justify them going over there and doing what they do. Well, like I said, the Lord has it to where it's not that time yet, man. All right. And that's how you know that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is orchestrating this thing, man. That's how you know. We read this at camp, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay? So the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. They can't do nothing unless the angels put the spirit on them, because that's who the Lord uses, all right, to do so. All this is controlled by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Okay? Revelation 18:5, all right? And it says, this is Babylon the Great, all right? Because ultimately, this shit is going to be all decimated, man. It's going to be all decimated, all right? 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, it's going to be all decimated. For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. But things have to take place first, such as the RFID microchip, Jacob's trouble, okay? The collapse and the fall of the society, all right? And then the Third World War is going to take place. So going back to what this guy was saying, all right? It was disrupted. The attack was disrupted. Why? Because other things have to take place. But this is ultimately going to be the end game, all right? For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Talking about who? Babylon the Great. Reward her, even if she have rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. And that's because you always trying to be in somebody else's business and not minding your own. So therefore, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to allow you to get jumped, all right, by the other nations, okay? That's why it tells us that it might be Revelation 21, all right, that basically, these are they which hateth the whore and eat of her flesh and burn her with fire. It might be it's in one of these, but yeah, man. So in other words, America has no, you have no backup plan, man. Right now, and it's just like in ancient Rome where your military was spread too thin, all right? And that's basically what's happening to America, because you got these different garrisons in all these different countries. You minding everybody else's business, and you ain't got your own shit in order, man. All right? And now it's going to come to time where your ass is going to be the ones that's getting bombed. You did all that bombing and killing. You've been at war during your whole existence, damn near, man. All right? And now it's going to come to time where your ass get jumped and bombed and put to shame. 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right? The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting to the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right? And that's going to be the end game, man. Okay? That's going to be the end game to all of these war games that you see. All right? Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 19. It says, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again, because Esau Edom is going to be removed from his power seat, man. See, everything that we see, the Lord is orchestrating him to be removed from his power seat. All right, him bringing forth the chip, him going into the valley of Jehoshaphat, is all set up for him to be removed from his power seat. As a matter of fact, let's get that in Isaiah, because that's what that's talking about. All right, ain't talking about no damn red devil falling from heaven. He falling from the clouds screaming, "Why'd you kick me out?" It's not what it's talking about. Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down, which didst weaken the nations? This video is him speaking about him weakening the nations. Him wanting to invade and go into a place that he has no business, but he has to follow prophecy guidelines. All right, which didst weaken the nations. Look what he just did to Venezuela. What did he do? He weakened their nation, but they'll say we strengthened your nation, right? And many other places, Iraq, all of that, and many other places in American history. All right. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also. Wait, where am I at? Okay, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Is this the man? It's talking about a man. And that man is the man of sin, Esau Edom, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Okay? And that's what it's talking about. It's talking about you, man.
Betrayed their country and sold out principally to Mossad, because you had, according to Mr. Pompeo, lots of Mossad agents out in the audience. Well, gosh, what a shock.
You brothers could watch this video for yourself. All right. You know, I just pulled it up and went through the spirit on it. But the point is, even when you look at these videos down here, you know, Iran triggers world war. All right. Don't fuck with Iran. Russia warns America. Okay. You can see what's going on through the spirit, man. All right. Joel, the 3rd chapter as well. Okay. And brothers that are in the know, you know about this situation. You know what's going on. All right. There's a lot going on. And yeah, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is heating up the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. He's heating it up. But understand that we got to go through that micro C-hip first. Jacob's trouble first. All right. Different civil wars. And, you know, we got to go through all that first before we get there. So, but we understand through prophecy, we still at the doors, man. So, Lord willing, you were edified onto the